If you're not a little distressed these days, chances are you're not paying attention. You see, all around us, our friends, the people we care about, are succumbing to the pressures of modern life. They're being affected by toxic levels of anxiety and worry and sorrow. So if you or someone you care about is going through trials right now, then this video is for you. You see, the ones that are already succumbing and having a hard time with the toxic levels, those are like the canaries in our coal mine, alerting us to the danger that this anxiety can actually present for all of us. And so we want to tune in on it. We don't want to allow it to get out of hand in our lives. And because of that, we want to go over a few things that you and I can do and some suggestions that we can share with others that may be very helpful in coping with anxiety. First, let's divide the causes of anxiety into two categories. We have the big category, the huge things that affect all of us, and they're not going away. Things like the economy, environmental issues, energy crises, equality issues. You see, those things are affecting all of humanity today. And it's like a droning noise in the background that makes it hard to focus and to live our lives. Second, we have all the small things, the personal things that might seem lesser in comparison with those big things, but they're just as deadly. In the same way that 1,000 tiny cuts can cause a person to die as much as a deep wound, well, in the same way, all these little things that you and I are coping with, things like personal failings, disappointments, sorrows, anxieties, see, all of them have a debilitating effect on each and every one of us. And so in view of how serious our situation is, and in view of the fact that this toxic anxiety can build up, it can be like a repetitive motion disorder that doesn't affect us too badly at first, but then over time becomes debilitating. In the same way, toxic levels of anxiety can take us out if we're not careful. Let's look at 3 reminders that could be very helpful to you and to me in coping with the anxiety that we face. The first one is to limit exposure to negative material. That's hard to do because we live in this world that has a 24-hour news cycle, and they try to keep us hooked by alerting us to breaking news and this crisis and that tragedy, and there's always something that is being presented to keep us addicted to watching. But you know, it doesn't hurt to take a day or two off, to take a little fast in between exposures to negative material. In fact, it can actually be the healthiest thing that you and I can do. We're not talking about being like the ostrich that puts its head in the sand and doesn't know what's going on. We're just talking about not being addicted to knowing what's going on constantly. That's the first thing that's going to really help. A second thing that will help is to develop the muscle of gratitude. Now, gratitude is like a muscle. A muscle needs to be used or we lose it. And sometimes if you haven't used a particular muscle for a while and you try, you feel it. You say, wow, that was hard. And that's the way many of us find ourselves when it comes to gratitude. If we haven't been in the habit of being grateful, we tend to find ourselves struggling to show gratitude. But here's why gratitude is so important. A single thought of gratitude displaces a world of negativity. It's true. It's hard to be moving emotionally in a direction of gratitude and one of distress at the same time. So discipline yourself to really implement gratitude as often as you can. And finally, choose your closest associates wisely. Now, a lot of times we meet with resistance when we talk about changing our associates. Well, my friends need me. Yes, they do. And we're not talking about cutting your needy friends out of your life. But here is the point. The ratio of needy friends that we need to pour ourselves out for and those that sustain us and build us up, those that refresh us, that ratio needs to be kept in check. Because if we get unbalanced and we have too much negativity, then sooner or later we're not going to be any good to anybody. So just remember that. You don't have to feel guilty by choosing to associate with the people that build you up. It has a ripple effect in that everybody in your life will benefit when you're more cheerful, more positive, and more capable. Now, in view of the fact that this toxic level of distress is so debilitating, it can hurt us physically, mentally, emotionally. In view of how serious it is, the fact that we're playing with real fire, we may need to go over these reminders more than once. So please go back over. What were they again? It was limit negative material. Second, develop the muscle of gratitude. And finally, choose your closest associates very wisely, knowing that they have a tremendous effect on your mental health. Now, we hope that this information is beneficial to each and every one of you. If you know someone that would benefit from hearing these reminders, please go ahead and share the video with them. And if you have other suggestions that have been helpful for you in coping with distress and anxiety, leave them in the comments. Once again, we want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.